Hey guys. So I thought I would videotape myself making something from start to finish, and we'll see if it makes the cut. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. So I thought I would make a rock garden. One of these. I made these miniature little rock gardens. There's one. I made 3 of them, so I'll show you 2 of them. The other one's over there. And there's the other one. So I think I'm gonna make another one. I don't have, do I have any gray left? Oh yeah, I do. Okay, good. So all I did was use gray clay. I actually used, well, that's not all gray. I actually used like white with a little bit of black in it because I didn't have gray, but so I made it. So this is that. So while I'm doing this, I'll just talk about whatever. So I'll tell you about me a little bit. I'm 50. I have 3 kids and 6 grandkids. I am menopausal right now. So apparently I sound moody in some of my videos. So we'll try not to be moody. I didn't realize that I was coming across that way, but yeah. And that humming noise you hear in the background, if you can hear it, is my fan, because I have to have a fan going 24/7 or I would, sweat to death. They'd come in here and I'd be a puddle. I swear, if it gets much hotter in this building, I'm just gonna spontaneously combust into flames. I don't know how I'm supposed to do it. Like, how long is this supposed to last? Like 10 years? They don't tell you anything when you're a kid. It's just crazy shit I'm telling you. Okay, so what I did is I just rolled it out. And any thickness, a couple millimeters, you know what I mean? Just a couple. And then I like to use the oval cutters for these. I use this circle one to do the bottom. And then I just have like a little oval one here somewhere. Or you can use a round one and just make it oval after you cut it. There's my oval cutter. So I'll make one of these big ones. Maybe we'll make a little small, maybe we'll make a small round one. So I've got this one cut out, and I'm going to cut out another one. And then what I'm going to do is take my other cutter, my other circle, it's a little bit smaller, this one, and I'm going to take out the middle of one of them so that I have this, and then I'm going to attach that to the top like this. Kind of squish it down a little bit, not too much though, because you wanted that line to show up, because that's going to be the separation of your bricks or your stones. So there you go. And then for the rest of the stones, I just take the oval cutter, and this garden's a little bit smaller than the last one I did, so we'll see how this works. Just cut out a couple of these. Okay. Let's see. It's a little big to put the whole thing on there, I think. So, no, maybe I'll put it on this side. So, like that. And then just kind of, I'm going to make these ones half the size though, because I find that that's too big for this little one. So, I cut it in half, and then I'm just going to round the corners. It doesn't have to be perfect because, like, they're stones, right? And I don't know about you, but I go to the waterfront or anything like that, nothing is in pristine shape. And then I just kind of stack them like that. No, I think that's all the stones I'm going to put on this one, because it's so small. And then I think what I'll do is I'll make one of my little rock, you know what, I don't want to be disrespectful, and I can't remember what they're called, but where I was raised and born, they make these, it's an Aboriginal custom, and they make these little rock statues all over, and I think it's to be like as a kind of like a reminder for somebody that's special to you or something. I don't know for sure. If you know, please put it in my comments, because I don't want to say something that's not right. So for my little rock figure, I'm going to make little balls, about that big, a couple of them, and squish them just so they're flat but not completely flat, you know what I mean? And then I would stack two of them on top of each other like that. Now I'm going to do that twice, and that'll be like the little legs for it. And then you just make one that's a little bit longer that goes across the little legs. And then you could put one or two on top of that, right in the middle, kind of like a little head. And then that's your little statue. Now for the water for this, what I used, and I won't use it once I get my my other supplies, because I'm going to order some of that liquid polymer clay, the Sculpey one, I believe it is. But I'm going to order some of that, and then that'll be I'll use that for the water. But this, when I did these ones, I actually added Vaseline to mine. So there's the longer one. Same thing, just kind of make sure the ends are rounded, and then squish it down a little bit, and then you're going to put that across your two. And I'll show you. Put that across your two like that. And then you're going to make two little ones to go on top. Two little circles, so little balls. And then you flatten those ones the same way. So I'm just going to flatten them both, put them on top of each other. Oop, if my fingers will work. And then I'm going to put that on top of this one, right in the middle. There. So there's my little figure. Okay, my little statue. So that's what it looks like. And then what I do is I take my tools, and I usually just put a whole bunch of them in front of me and go with what looks right. So I bought these ones, and I think they're great. The only problem I had is one of the ends fell out. So and once it comes out, it's really hard to put it back in because they're in there with pressure. So I had to like cut some of it off and actually glue it back in order to use it. And now it's not straight. So that's my only downside. And I bought these wooden ones, and these are great. I use them for almost everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edge of my pond and make little brick cuts. Just kind of eye it so you're, about the same width apart. Because usually they use stones that are about the same size when they make these. So like that. And then I go down the side here to match it up, go all the way down to that first line. So you're just going to go to the first line. And then past the first line, go over so that your lines don't match up. And then the bottom will look like the stones are matched differently. So I would do that. And then take either a toothbrush or a little stick like this, or toothpick, and just kind of pot mark the rocks so that they don't look so flat and shiny. You know, just kind of put texture on them. And then after that, what I do is, if I'm going to, this color here I don't like as much as the other color I had, so I think what I might do is go over it with a light color, like a lighter gray maybe, just to give it highlighted a little bit before I do anything else. But after that, I would put my water in and use my Q-tip or whatever and make it all fluffy and frothy looking. Then what I did is I took silver leaf, and I took tiny little bits of it, and I used this here and this, and took tiny little bits and I added them. You'll see on this one here, I added them to the water. So a little bit more at the bottom of the fountain, or the fall I mean, and then put them around. They kind of make it look like the bubbles on the water, you know, like shimmering water. So I would do that. And then I took polymer clay and I made tiny little fishtails. And all I did for that was I took my smallest hole cutter, which is this one here. Let me show you. I took well, it's not my smallest, but the smallest usable one. So the white one, if you have these at home, the white one. I took this, popped one out, and then I cut it in half, almost all the way, and opened up the ends so that the fishtails opened up, and then just shoved them inside the water, like that. So that was my, that's how I did that. And then, after that, the grass was just very finely rolled out green polymer clay, and I used my X-Acto knife, this one here with the, I find this one works the best, where the blade is kind of on the top, and then you can just take your, cut off that little tiny grass blade you need, and it'll stick right to the tip, and then when you bring it down and put it on your clay, it'll stick right away. So you just kind of have to touch it exactly where you want it, like that, you know, and then the grass will spray it up right where you want it. So once again, I'll show you what that looks like. So there's my little bits of grass. They're all separate little branches. And you can see the little yellow bits there. I put little tiny pieces of polymer clay, yellow clay in there, just to look at like there was flowers. So that's the other thing I did. Let's see what else I did. Oh, final thing before I go. I made tiny little ladybugs to put on there. Yes, I do realize that the ladybugs are almost as big as the fish, but, well, they're not really, but they wouldn't be that big if it were to scale. But I thought they were cute. So I made tiny little ones, and those I just made very small little balls. I cut them in half, and then I put black dots on them. You'd have to see it with a magnifying glass, I think. I put little black dots and a little black head. So anyway, hope you liked the video. It was a little more in-depth and a little bit more about me. So take care. Don't forget to follow and like.